All right, everybody. Just before we get into the podcast today, I want to, say thank you to this month's sponsor, and I'm really excited this month. This sponsor, I've been using their product since I was in high school, which Fish likes to remind me was a really long time ago. And so this month's sponsor is Sculpey, and they have sent us a bunch of stuff to give away at our drawing events, both here and in Texas, because now we have drawing events in Texas. So if you're in the San Angelo area, go check that out. If you're not familiar, Sculpey is an oven-baked clay, is an amazing crafting medium that has been around for over 50 years, like I said, back when I was in high school. Sculpey offers a wide selection of oven-baked clay brands for all different crafting levels, from kids just starting out their creative journey to people looking to make jewelry and DIY home decor to talented sculptors selling their art. There is a Sculpey clay for everyone. Sculpey clay is easy to use and stays soft until you bake it in your home oven at a low temperature of 275 degrees Fahrenheit, which is lower than baking cookies. Now I want cookies. You can check out Sculpey Clay and a wide selection of their innovative tools at www.sculpey.com. For a limited time, they've actually given us a coupon code for us here at Inebri-art. So if you're listening now, you can go to Sculpey.com for 25% off your entire order. So you just go over to www.sculpey, that's SCULPEY.com, and enter the promo code PFNS25, and you'll get 25% off your entire order. So let's get into the podcast. All right, welcome back, Inebri-arts. This is Andy, the Inebri-art podcast, and we're recording today at the Mayflower Brewery because our good friends at the Craft Beer Cellar are busy using our, well, it's not really our recording space, it's their space that they let us record to build their Advent beer calendars. So if you happen to be a beer drinker and celebrating Christmas, head down there and pick up an Advent calendar. And we brought in today Steve Hall, interior designer, works at setting the space. So welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm excellent. So interior design is something that I am not qualified to talk about, but we're going to talk about it anyways.
Yeah, okay.
So how did you end up in that field?
I believe it or not, I was in the formal wear business for a number of years. I used to own a tuxedo store.
Okay.
I guess I always had good taste. People always said I had good taste, and I could do design and whatnot. And Blair at Setting the Space was hiring. This was about 7 years ago, I think, and they weren't hiring designers or people to do something like that. They were hiring salespeople for the store.
Yeah.
So I said, well, let me try because maybe I could work my way up or, do something like that.
So, you kind of got into the store and kind of, cut your teeth there?
Yes. And what ended up happening was, I think it was the first, I got hired in July or something, and then he was like, oh, you can decorate the store for Halloween.
Yeah.
And then you can decorate the store for Christmas. And then we got some some paying jobs for Christmas, which were these windows for a real estate company. And I don't think the real estate company was supposed to hire people to do it because they were in a contest.
Oh, okay. That sounds like cheating.
And it was worldwide.
Oh, okay.
And the window I did for her in Duxbury won Best in the U.S.
Oh,
so Blair and Will, were kind of impressed by that and said, oh, I think he knows what he's doing. Let's pull him out of that and have him start doing
So was
the
it
design.
Was it something that you said you had a good eye? Were you always interested in it?
Yes.
So it was always something you were drawn to?
Since I was a little kid, almost I would, down in the basement at my parents' house, I would make a little room.
Yeah. And then redesign it. Is your house in a constant state of...
with the cast off the furniture that were downstairs, little vignettes of things or whatever, and stuff like that. But what were you asking about the house?
So is your house in this constant state of being reorganized?
Or is it like a mechanic's car that is never fixed? Is your house just like a total shambles?
No, it's people come in and they say it looks like a museum.
Yeah,
and that everything is in its place, and it's almost literal. That like, say if I have some books, I have antique books. I have a little pair of antique glasses on top of the books. It's like,
oh, okay. So like,
what would it have been like? Because I'm very into personally, I'm into the very early American primitives. Almost like, I guess the best way to explain it to people is like a Sturbridge Village. Yeah, Sturbridge Village or Plymouth Plantation or whatever. So I have it set up that it would look like that. You know what I mean?
So would you have like if you had a desk, you'd put out like a roll of parchment and like a quill pen type thing?
Yes. I have the quill pen. Yeah. I have
nice.
Yeah. And a candle and
So when you're trying to find these pieces for yourself, like where do you look? Are you that particular where it has to be authentic?
No, it can be a reproduction, which is fine. As long as it's a good reproduction. As far as the furniture goes with the reproduction, I can tell ones that they try to make them look like they're old and they're not. It's like I think it has to be made out of the old wood.
Yep.
And then, but my mom and I have the same aesthetic, and she found this woman in Westboro who had an antique shop out of a barn in her house. But she had all the original antiques.
Okay.
She found this man in Maine
who
replicated all of her furniture with the old wood, and you can't tell the difference.
Which
unless you're an antique dealer.
So for like our listeners who don't know, and I actually know this because a friend of mine's a big antiquer, old wood and wood that you would buy now is totally different.
I believe so. I mean, I'm not a wood expert, but
but
I can tell. And also the way they finish it, or the way they paint it, and it's not necessarily like the chipped paint or whatever. It I don't know. I can just tell it's a certain look.
Yeah. So if someone calls you in to...
But that's not necessarily what people in our business, for what I do, that's...
Like you're not stuck on that one
That's the opposite end of the spectrum.
Right.
Very rarely, I don't think I've ever done a primitive home.
So you're not pigeonholed into that design?
Because I think good taste is good taste.
Yeah.
And putting something together aesthetically is either, if you have the eye for it, you have the eye for it. If you don't, you don't. It's almost like getting dressed.
Okay.
You can put I tell people this. If you can put an outfit together, you can dress your home. If you can dress yourself, you can dress your home.
All right. I'm a t-shirt and jeans kind of guy.
Okay, so then you'd have no rug.
I'd have a Swiffer.
Yeah.
So do you ever get that where you get like the bachelor guy who's like, make me not look like a slob. Make me look like
and how I explain it to them is, although you said jeans and t-shirts, but like I do the analogy of, have you ever worn a suit?
Yes.
Okay. Because like people are scared of mixing like colors and patterns and things.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, if you've worn a suit, have you ever worn? All right, I'll give you an example of that. Have you ever worn? Let's just say you had a chalk stripe suit.
Okay.
Then you wore it with a checkered shirt.
Okay.
Then you had a patterned tie.
I feel like I wouldn't do that.
All right, so maybe you had maybe you had a striped tie.
Because I feel,
but you already put three patterns together and you didn't even know it.
Okay, but I feel like from the incredibly little I know about such things, I would feel like it would have to be like if one of those was patterned, then nothing else should be. Is that
no? It's all about the scale. Like, all right, let's say and it's the same thing. Like, say with a rug and pillows, and then I'm going back to the suit thing.
Yeah.
If, say you had the chalk stripe suit, and it was a wide stripe.
Okay.
Then you had a shirt that was a little checks in your shirt.
Yeah.
So the checks were small.
Okay.
So it's a wide stripe, small checks. Then your tie, the pattern would be a little bolder and a little wider.
Okay.
It's big, small, big, small. Okay,
I see what you're saying. Yeah. So.
And just that the colors should somehow go together, but most colors go together anyway.
So not like purple tie, orange shirt.
Although purple and orange go together, though.
This time of year.
Well, no, it doesn't matter the time of year.
Yeah,
but in certain contexts, purple and orange go together.
So it's kind of
like green and brown go together, whether you think of it or not, because those are colors in nature.
So it's the whole kind of it's the whole picture. You can't. There's no. Are you saying there's like no hard and fast rules? It kind of all there's so many variants.
Nope. And another thing I think is people talk about like say accessorizing or how do you do things, or even when you look at a room. I believe that our eyes are trained to look from left to right.
Okay.
Because that's
how we read.
Because that's the way we read.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's how you scan everything.
That's
in
the
life.
same when you're talking about paintings and drawings and stuff.
Right. So when you walk into a room, you're actually probably looking from left to right.
So let me ask you: when you design a room, do you?
I mean, I'm not saying that I'm doing it from left to right, but say if I'm doing a mantle or like a coffee table or something, and I know the coffee table is what you're going to see maybe third.
Yeah.
And you put something on the coffee table, the height of it somewhat matters.
So, but
because you don't want it, you don't want your eyes doing like the EKG thing,
right. Yeah. But what I'm thinking of is I've worked a lot of retail, and the prime space is eye level. So when you walk,
but everybody's eye level is different.
It's true. But there's kind of like an average when you're standing.
There is, because and going back to my mom.
Yeah,
my mom was about 5 feet, 5'1", 5 feet, and I would hang things in her house, and she would say to me it was too high.
Because you would hang it at your eye level.
I would hang it at my eye level.
Right. But is that something that you think about when you're decorating a room? Do you think about like your eye level, like where say the homeowners would be?
No, I don't necessarily think of eye level. I just think of how it is in the middle of the wall, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Plus because I do mostly staging.
Yep.
So
for listeners who may not have heard our previous episode, staging is when you basically decorate a home for resale.
For sale, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And you get more money for it, and they sell quicker.
Yeah.
So what I would do is, and again, with staging, it's a little different than the decorating, is that staging is a little more sparse.
Okay.
And I would say just because it's a wall doesn't mean you have to hang something on it. So with staging, say we had 4 walls in a dining room.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hang something on 4 walls because it's staging.
Okay.
But at the same time, here's a little trick for you to do this, that say there's a wall that you don't want to clutter up with a piece of furniture, and you have a big piece of artwork, you hang it a little lower so it takes up the whole wall. So it looks
kind of like where
looks like it's an artwork wall, so to speak.
Right.
But it doesn't look like there's a piece of furniture missing underneath it.
Right.
If you hang it at a certain height,
so it looks like it's on purpose.
Yes, that it's down this far. You can't see where I'm doing with my hands.
Right.
You get where I'm going with it. You can. You get where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
And I'm actually almost going to get up and show you what I mean.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. You know what I mean? Like if you hung it higher,
it would look like there's a table or something.
Or something like that underneath it. So if you're not putting all the furniture in there, you hang it that way.
Yeah. So is there one current trend in the interior design world that you hate, that you think is like, it's overdone, or that's a mistake to even do it that way? Like,
no, because
the Comic Sans of the design.
No, like I don't necessarily hate anything.
Yeah,
so to speak.
There's nothing like that one.
No, because I do my own thing in a way. You know, it's like, so I'm not focused on that.
Yeah,
like I'm focused on what we do, and I think good taste is good taste, no matter what it is. You know, classic is classic. However, that can also be not what is current in a way, but yes, what is current. So, you know, like we can do a lot of metal, you know, depending on the space, you know, like if we're doing something in Boston and it's a more modern apartment or whatever, you know, we're going to do things that are more silver, more chrome, more
kind of like a more industrial look to it.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't work, say, if you were down like Cape Cod.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it could, but it may not. But it's also, you can mix things.
Yeah. So you have to think about where it's located as much as the space itself?
Sorry, I was swallowing.
Oh, that's all right.
I was swallowing my beer.
It's Inebri-art. You're
right.
The Inebri comes before.
Right. I may need more, by the way. just
well, we
so
got fish. Say. We can send fish.
Okay. Now. No.
So Do you find yourself doing a lot of research? Like, how do you?
No.
It's more just kind of like an instinct kind of thing?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's... There are no right or wrong answers. You know what I mean? And I think people maybe get a little hung up on things like that. It's like, if you love it, you love it. I mean, I may go into your house and be like, oh, my God, what did you do? You know,
right.
Jesus.
Do you ever get called into someone who says maybe has like an aesthetic that you don't particularly care for?
Yeah.
And then you have to decide to fit them?
Yeah,
Is that more of a challenge?
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's not a challenge, but it's like you just say, okay, and maybe in my head I'm thinking that's not the best job I could do, but if they love it, they love it. You know, then I did do a good job, right?
Right. Well, and that's as long as you get the customer.
That's what it's all about,
right? Absolutely. So we talked with we were just right before we started recording how we love to talk to chefs and restaurant owners, and some of them complain about how with all the cooking shows, how everyone feels they're a food critic. Do you get the same thing with all the home design?
In a way, yes. And although
while I was out, this took one day. You're going to take 2 days to do that?
Yes. Although with the stagings, which is because again, that's what I said I do primarily. We deal with mostly realtors.
Yep.
Sometimes builders, and then sometimes the homeowners. And once in a while, we will get someone who there'll be a realtor who say, "I don't like the blue pillows." And I'm like, okay, so someone's not going to buy this house because I put blue pillows on the couch. Seriously, maybe you need to look at like the chips in the floor or the
right.
like the other things.
Have you seen The Neighbor? The blue pillow is not the issue.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Jesus, Gladys Kravitz is peering in the window.
Yeah.
You know, but. And then we have some who are very specific. You know, we have one who likes only white bedding. So we have to do just white.
Which is fine. You figure that out.
But we know what they want.
Right.
So it's fine. But they have their ideas. And there's one guy in, where is he in? Norwell.
Okay.
He's not necessarily a builder or I don't know. He's an attorney or something. But his thing is he sells one home a year in Norwell. And
kind of like flips houses.
But his pride is to sell the highest priced home in Norwell.
Oh, okay.
Every year.
All right.
So I stage for him once a year.
Yep.
And he told me something funny one time. We were talking, we did usually at least 3 of the bedrooms for him. You know, obviously the rest of the house. But his concern was the master bedroom had to be really, really nice.
Okay.
And he said to me, the other bedrooms, I don't care. He said, they just poke their head in. They don't even walk into them. So everybody, all these realtors or all these people have their own...
They're kind of like their own expectation of what customers want.
So I get where they're coming from in that they're going what their buyer wants. You know? And obviously they're there to make money off of it.
Which, I mean, if you're a home buyer, it makes sense. You're going to really look into the master bedroom because that's where you're going to spend the majority of your sleeping time.
Yeah.
Like if you have a guest bedroom, you're like, whatever.
So I was like, whatever.
What is there like one tip, not to like give away your trade secrets, but is there like one tip that you could give someone who is selling a home that, again, I know nothing. So like,
number one, depersonalize it.
Okay.
Take away all your pictures, your picture frames of your kids, your
anything
family.
That's you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see like if you're going to look at a home, nobody wants to see your family in their home.
Yeah.
They want to picture their family in that home.
Mm-hmm. I totally understand. It makes super sense to me because I remember looking at houses with my ex-wife, and there was actually a family who was home at the time we were looking at the house, and that was just super weird because you felt like you're just invading these people's homes.
And then I had one recently. This woman, where was I? I was in Brookline or somewhere, and nice woman, pediatrician who had just had a baby, and blah blah blah. And so it was a lived. Like a lot of the ones we do are empty.
Yeah.
This was, as we call it, a lived-in. So they were still living there, so that
so you have certain more challenges to deal with.
So the realtor, who we work with a lot, as well as our consultation with it, told them initially what to kind of get rid of in the house.
Yeah.
And then we brought in it was kind of like a half.
You're like, get rid of the baby.
Yeah, it was kind of a half. Yeah, seriously. Nobody wants to see it. Although, that's a funny side story. My friend
we'll
Amy,
get to
my
that.
friend Amy, remind me.
All right, I'll remind you of the baby story.
Live baby. Yeah.
Okay.
So, we did kind of like a half staging, and we told them to get rid of, when you first walked in, there was the living room, and there was a little bookcase. It was kind of open to the kitchen. We told them to get rid of the bookcase because there were all books. A bookcase is fine,
right?
But there were all the books because it's scattered. Like all you're seeing is the titles of the books, and
right.
It doesn't look nice.
They're not those kind of antique
not
books.
It's fine if you're living there, but it's not for someone looking at.
Like if it was an antique book, it'd be a little more nondescript, just like a color,
which I love, by the way. All the old leather-bound books and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I got there to do the staging, and she didn't move out the bookcase. And she said to me, I'm still living here. I need my books. I can't do it. And then I'm like, well, and then the realtor's looking at me. He's rolling his eyes.
Right.
He's like, maybe I'll get her to move it somewhere else or something like that. And I'm like, well, pick and choose your battles in a way too.
Right.
I'm sure maybe no one's not going to not buy the house because there's that bookshelf there.
But there's a difference when you walk in and it's.
But I was like, ugh, it was the first thing I saw, and I'm like, oh, she's going to get rid of that because he said to me, "What else?" But then they had like a built-in, wasn't necessarily a bookcase, almost shelf. It was just a weird thing. And they had a lot of tchotchkes and stuff in there. And I said, he's like, "What do you think of this?" I'm like, "Need to get rid of that." I said, and they still have pictures in there, and
so no family photo. Like that wouldn't even occur to me.
No, and he was like, "Oh." He's like, yeah, but they're a nice-looking couple. And I'm like, look at that picture. I'm like, he looks like he probably might have a husband instead of a wife. Not that.
No, hey, but you mentioned a story of getting rid of a baby.
Oh, well, we didn't get rid of it. Yeah, it was, again.
And wait, this doesn't involve like a backyard burial of anything.
No.
As long as you're not confessing to
No, this was a couple years ago. It was in Beacon Hill.
Mm-hmm.
One of the hills. My friend Amy and I were doing the staging together, and we didn't bring anything to it. We had to use everything in their house.
Okay, is that unusual? Do you normally bring stuff?
It's not the norm, but it's fine. We do the one day redesign and all that stuff, which is great. Actually, that's probably sometimes better for people, you know what I mean? Like, people don't understand that we can actually go in and just work with what you have.
Kind of just reorganize your crap.
Yeah, exactly. Get rid of this, get rid of that.
Just start with a trash bag.
Yeah. And it was a lot of the old Victorian antiques and stuff, and, like, the real silver. And we don't normally set tables, but we were like, all right, we have to work with their stuff. What do we have here?
Right.
And Amy was even like, "Oh my God, this fork is like worth more than we make in a year." Like it was that good stuff. Yeah. But some of the stuff, like, we rearranged it. But some of the stuff we had to put to this, angle it or whatever. Like, the back of the couch was like ripped and stuff.
Right.
So anyway, unbeknownst to us, the guy who owned the house, he had his son and daughter-in-law and grandson, or I don't know, maybe it was a grandson, staying there. Then we were down in the kitchen doing some stuff, and then they didn't have, and I do this sometimes too, like because we were using their stuff. So I'm like, oh, what do they have out in the yard? So I like ran out, they had hydrangea bush. I'm like, oh, I'm cutting hydrangeas.
Oh, it's going to put flowers in the house.
Yeah. And then I like dug up some like plants to put in there in a pot, because I'm like, we need some green in the house or something.
Yeah.
So anyway, then the son was there, who actually was he was very hot, but anyway, that's a whole other thing. And they had like maybe a 2 or 3 year old or whatever who was around. And they brought him home pizza or something. They were in the kitchen while we were doing it. So Amy and I went up to do one of the bedrooms.
Yeah.
And we looked in the bedroom, and there was a crib, and there was a baby sleeping in it. So our point was about that. We were like, how do we stage a baby? Like, do we prop it up? Or
I think you're supposed to wait.
Do we wake him up? What do we do?
Is it on the back now? Do you lay him on the front? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
So that was our funny story about that. Yeah, like how do you stage a baby?
Do you ever have to like? So like, I'm a dog person.
Okay.
If I'm staging a home and I'm living in it, what do I do about the dog? I mean, is that like a another complication, or
no? I haven't encountered dogs in my. Oh no! I did one time. Actually,
okay.
Now that I think of it, and again, it was one we almost couldn't do it. That it was a dog pen.
Okay.
So we were supposed to bring in, and again, it was one of those lived in, which was
right. I take it those are your least favorite to deal with.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they were there when I got there. So
yeah.
It was in the summer. I guess all the kids were home. The woman wasn't happy about it because I don't think there was any communication between the realtor that we were coming maybe at that time or something.
Oh, yeah.
So she's there, like, cooking breakfast for, like, 6 kids who were sitting around the counter. And, again, it's a small – I forget where I was. Somewhere, like Charlestown or something. Anyway. Then we were supposed to put a table in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a huge, like almost the size of a swimming pool, huge dog pen in the middle of the floor, and a dog in it. Or whatever.
Right,
I'm like, well, the moving guys are here to move the furniture in for the thing, and like, what do you do?
So, do you normally get hired by the realtor or the homeowner?
80% of the time, probably the realtor.
So even if they're living there, the realtor will
yeah. So actually,
you.
in this case, it was the realtor.
Yeah.
But the homeowner. Yeah. So and then there was like the downstairs part who we were supposed to do a little bit, but they had a tenant. I don't know if it was a tenant or she was living there, or whatever. This like pierced, like looking lesbian who not I love lesbians, but I'm just saying like not because I'm going to be we're not going to get hate mail over this, are we?
If we haven't gotten hate mail yet, no.
So I'm saying. But anyway, but I had to make a point about that just to tell you. And she was a DJ or something. She had her DJ equipment in the family room down there that I was supposed to stage or whatever.
Yeah.
And apparently initially she wouldn't let anybody downstairs. And she had a dog that she had to lock up because it was very vicious.
Well, that makes it very hard to show a house.
Like, this is just a great day.
Yeah.
But it all worked out because I made nice with her, and because that's what I'm all about. Like,
and sometimes that's all it takes is just
because I think it's all about the relationship too. Like that, I think when the people meet me, I make I put them at ease, and I'm like, listen, I'm not trying to invade your space or try, if it's the homeowner.
Steve, you're not a very friendly person.
I know. I hate everyone. I hate everyone.
Yeah.
But it is true, and
I feel like just kind of being that kind of personable person.
It is.
It makes your job so much easier.
It does.
A job so much easier.
But it is funny, too, because like, when I call, because lots of times I'll have to call ahead of time when I'm on my way. And I'm like, hi, it's Steve from Sending the Space. I'm on my way. And they're like, oh, hi, how are you?
Yeah.
But then there are some that I've worked with forever. There was one of my realtors, Mark, who I love. We do in the North Shore a little bit. And obviously he has me in his phone, apparently, my caller ID, and I'll dial it when I'm going to say on my way. And he's like, hey, Steve, how are you? Good, I'm so glad you're coming, or whatever, and that makes my day. It's like, it's nice.
What's the favorite part of your job and the least favorite part of your job?
My favorite part of my job is just the whole overall everything. Like
that really narrows it down, Steve.
I know, doesn't it? I know.
I love everything.
I know. I'm so specific. No, just like doing everything, and once it's all done,
so kind of
putting it all together,
when
and
it's finished?
The sense of accomplishment, and you know what I mean, and instant gratification of that in a way, and knowing that I did, looking back and be like, wow, this looks really good.
So kind of like when it's completed and you can step back and look at the whole finished thing. Yeah,
and you've seen pictures.
You've seen
the pictures.
Yeah, we're friends on Facebook. I see your pictures all the time.
I know. So the least favorite part is ironing the bedding.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
We do the bed. We have to press it to make it look. That's my least favorite part.
I will tell you a single guy story. This was ages ago. Like a really long time ago now that I think about it. I had to wear a shirt and tie when I first got into a management position, and I'm ironing my shirt. I don't know the first thing about ironing my shirt. And so I finished, and my mother's like, aren't you going to iron the other side? And I'm like, no, because you iron one side, it's going to flatten out the other side, right? And she's like, oh, no, give me that. Yeah. So
Yeah. And even if you're wearing a sweater, you still have to iron your shirt. I ironed my shirt underneath. You see, I have a sweater on.
Yeah.
I ironed my whole shirt today.
You're a better man than me because I don't iron any shirt I own.
My mom would kill me if I didn't.
Yeah, no.
And I'm 53, and my mom would kill me if I didn't do it. So it's like,
So if, our younger listeners, which I don't know if there are any.
Why?
Actually, my son listens.
Oh, how old is your son?
My son's 16.
Oh, what's his name?
Liam.
Hi, Liam.
He listens all the time.
Good.
But
I need another beer.
Oh, we can get you another beer. Fish?
I'm off.
Research? Sometime
today. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
When I don't have to work for tips.
Right?
I mean, if you're going, I wouldn't say no.
Right? What are you having, by the way?
So I'm drinking the
it looks
Mayflower. Yes, I do like darker beers. It is the Mayflower Thanksgiving beer, which they say is one of their...
There's no gravy in it, is there?
Well, I said, was it turkey flavored? And they said no.
That's gross. I don't eat turkey, by the way. I hate turkey.
Really? You don't eat turkey?
I eat like a 3-year-old, so don't worry about it.
Oh, well, you said that already.
I did.
So
did I
like
say
burgers.
Before?
Yeah, you said like burgers and fries.
Yeah. Pizza.
No
vegetable. I don't eat vegetables.
It's got to be grilled cheese.
Oh, I love grilled cheese. Grilled cheese with bacon is the best.
Yeah. My ex-wife also eats a similar diet.
Oh.
And anytime
What's her name?
Janine. I don't know if she listens.
We could go out to eat together.
Yeah, probably. Anytime I wanted to make like a romantic dinner, it was grilled cheese and Campbell's tomato soup. That was like her.
So that's good.
Absolute favorite.
Ooh, and when I was in college, they did it frozen. You could just put it in the microwave.
Like frozen grilled cheese?
I don't think it lasted. No, it was Campbell's. It was like the soup and the grilled cheese. It was one thing altogether.
Sounds terrible.
No, it was actually.
And
was
you were
actually
just talking
good.
about your friend's restaurant.
No, but it was actually. Well, that's a whole.
I hope it's good. If they're making.
They don't make grilled cheese in
microwave grilled cheese.
No.
So, back to my point.
Yes.
If there was a youngster who wanted to get into interior design, how would you recommend them getting started? Would it be kind of reorganize their room?
I think.
Is there like a magazine or a website or a show that you would recommend? That's a lot of shaking.
Yeah,
it's like, oh god, no.
No, I don't know. I just think either you have it or you don't. It's almost like someone who can play an instrument. Or someone who can sing.
I would totally disagree with that because I feel
really?
Maybe singing, but like instrument, I feel like
we can learn how to play an instrument.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, well maybe you can. No, but so maybe you can learn.
Yeah,
but what is it that they're teaching with it? Like I remember sometimes someone told me that, like with the design thing, there's a rule of threes. You always have to put accessories and. No, sometimes 2 works. Sometimes 1 works.
But see, this
so you can't go by, like, you know what I mean?
But see, this is my thing. Is there's a lot of rules when it comes to visual art, and rules of threes is one of them.
Yeah.
But I feel like you need to learn those rules.
Thank you.
So you can learn. Thank you. So you can learn when.
I like this glass better too. This is a good glass.
I didn't make it.
Well, yeah.
But I feel like you need to learn the rules so you know when to break them. Because I feel like if you break them without knowing what you're doing, you're going to screw up. But I feel like if you know the rule, then you can be like, well, I know what the rule is, but I chose to break it.
And I hate to go back to this or whatever, but I just think if you have, as people say it, if you have an eye or you don't have an eye.
Yeah. Well, and there's certain truths to that. It'd be really hard to be a blind interior decorator.
Right. Wouldn't that be funny?
I'm sure.
What's that called? What's the other thing?
There has to be one out there.
What's that other thing? A one-arm paper hanger?
Yes, yeah. I mean, there has to be one out there. But
again, I go back to this. Either you have good taste or you don't.
Yeah. So you don't think good taste is something you can develop? So I'm a lost cause. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, maybe. I guess you can teach it. Sure.
So,
but I don't. It. And again, all of these things are somewhat relative.
Right. So do you...
But there is something to be said about a universal something that people like.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah. There's certain thing that everyone likes, and then there's personal choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't feel like there's one universal, like, absolutely not? Because if there's things that universally people like...
Yeah, just think about that for a second. But yeah,
there's got to be like one rule that you're like, absolutely under no circumstance do you put a couch in the kitchen. Or something. There's got to be something.
Yeah.
Like, there's no breakfast nook in the bathroom. Or, there's got to be like a universal interior design. This is a golden rule. You can't take breakfast nook in the bathroom. I use that.
No. It's like, I don't know. Like, no. I was going to say, no black velvet painting. Or, like.
One of my.
I
went to. You might actually find this funny. I went to a art show. God, it was quite a while ago now. And the first thing I walked into was a black velvet painting of Elvis Costello. And I'm like, oh, that's really clever.
It is.
Yeah.
But no, I'm trying to think of a steadfast rule of no.
Yeah. Tie-dye?
Seriously?
I don't know.
Oh, not on your body, not in your house.
All right, so there's the one. No,
I mean, well, I guess
no
unless you're going to what is unless you're going to a Jimmy Buffett concert or Grateful Dead, right?
That's what it Grateful
is.
Dead.
Grateful Dead.
Is there
no? Speaking of Jimmy, no parrots.
No parrots, no tie dye.
No birds, no live birds in your house.
No live birds.
Seriously, is a bird cage really that attractive?
No, not really. I don't get it, but that doesn't mean other people don't. But so those are the rules: no tie dye, no birds.
There we go.
All right,
there we go.
Those are mine.
Yeah, right.
All right.
It's yep. It's set in stone today.
Perfect.
No tie dye, no birds. I'm sure there are more. But.
Yeah. Is there somewhere people can go online to check out your work? And
yes, go to settingthespace.com.
Yep.
Or
our good friends Blair and Will.
Yes, my good friends Blair and Will.
Yes,
whom I love. Or, well, it's not that public, but you could check out my Facebook.
You can stalk Steve Hall on Facebook.
Yes,
you can find the right Steve Hall in Plymouth.
Good luck. Oh no, it's under Steven. Though.
Oh, it's Steven. Okay.
Yeah, not Plymouth either.
Oh, all right.
Not Plymouth. Yeah,
right.
Steven. Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Steve at settingthespace.com. That's
so they can contact you and ask you for for photos.
Yes. Do you want my phone number? No.
Oh,
okay. Not you. I'm not trying to pick you up.
Well, why not?
Don't you think that he's like
I'm very handsome.
So I'll give him my phone number.
All right, you can give Fish your phone number.
No, he's cute.
No, me, no.
No, you're cute, but
that's fine. Whatever.
Cuter.
That's fine. Whatever. That's okay.
You know what? I'm taking that.
That's all right.
Taking it.
Yeah,
it's a win for Fish. And so
he has good coloring, and he's
green.
He has a nicer shirt on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay, I'm just in my Bruins t-shirt.
That's okay.
Steve, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It was a lot of fun.
Cheers.
And cheers. Let's do a little cheers.
Yeah, let's do cheers. Yeah.
And
shots? No.
They don't do shots here.
I don't eat. Well, why? Oh, that's right. It's
a
beer.
brewery.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. We have to go to the distillery to do shots.
Yeah,
okay.
Beer shots is just sampling.
But we'll definitely have you back sometime. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you. I had a blast.
Awesome. And thanks for listening.
All right. Thanks for listening to our podcast. Don't forget to check out our other podcasts. There's the Bar Talk podcast. There's Old Colony Cast. And, of course, the Inebri-art podcast along with Jam Packed. You can find all those on Stitcher, iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, pretty much anywhere podcasts are found. If you're on some sort of service and you can't find it, let us know, and we'll help you out and or add our podcast to that too. You can contact us at Inebri-art@yahoo.com and follow us on Facebook as well as Twitter at Inebri-art. And feel free to send us some tips, ideas, advice, hate mail, whatever it is, you can get us there. And again, thanks for listening.